Stony-faced.
Stony-faced.
Tony stared at me in stony-faced silence.
Stood.
Stood.
Stooge.
Stooge.
Stool.
Stool.
A bar stool.
Stool pigeon.
Stool pigeon.
Stoop.
Stoop.
We had to stoop to pass through the low entrance. Dave stooped down to tie his shoes.
I didn't expect you to stoop to lying.
Don't stoop to her level.
Mr. Hamilton was an odd, quiet man who walked with a stoop. Stooped.
Stooped.
A thin man with stooped shoulders. Stop.
Stop.
By midday the rain had stopped. This is where the path stops.
The referee stopped the fight.
The doctor advised me to stop the medication.
People are fighting to stop the destruction of the rainforests.
I couldn't stop her crying.
I stopped digging and looked at him.
What time do you stop work?
I've been smoking for over 10 years and I can't stop.
Come on, you two, stop it.
Right, stop what you're doing and come over here.
The government tried to stop publication of the book.
I'm leaving now, and you can't stop me. Lay the carpet on paper to stop it sticking to the floor.
The rain didn't stop us from enjoying the trip.
I couldn't stop myself laughing.
She grabbed the rail to stop herself from falling.
There's nothing to stop you applying for the job yourself.
He stopped suddenly when he saw Ruth.
Stop, come back.
He stopped the car and got out. I was worried that the security guards would stop us at the gate.
She stopped outside the post office.
A car stopped behind us. Sam stopped to give me a lift.
He stopped and looked into her face.
I need to stop for a rest. Sally saw the ambulance and stopped short.
This truck can stop on a dime.
We stopped for a drink on the way home.
I stopped to tie my shoe.
It's time we stopped to think about our next move.
I won't sit down. I'm not stopping. Will you stop for a cup of tea?
We will stop at nothing to save our child.
The U.S. government supported sanctions but stopped short of military action.
Dad threatened to stop my pocket money. £200 will be stopped from your wages next month to pay for the damage.
I phoned the bank and asked them to stop the cheque.
My mother called the bank to stop payment on the check.
Can you stop back later? I'm busy right now. I'll stop by this evening.
Daniel stopped by the store on his way home. I'll stop in and see you on my way home.
I need to stop in at the library. I'm stopping in to wash my hair tonight.
We can stop off and see you on our way back.
We stopped off in Santa Rosa for a day.
It was a real treat being allowed to stop out late.
The plane stops over in Dubai on the way to India. Joe stopped up till 3 o'clock to watch the boxing.
The bus came to a stop outside the school.
The car skidded to a stop.
Work on the project has come to a stop because of lack of funding.
David brought the truck to a shuddering stop.
The UN is trying to bring the war to a stop. Our first stop was Paris. We'll make a stop at the foot of the hill. The trip includes an overnight stop in London.
Our next stop will be York.
This is your stop, isn't it? The government is determined to put a stop to the demonstrations.
The hospital staff pulled out all the stops to make sure the children had a wonderful day. The hospital staff pulled out all the stops to make sure the children had a wonderful day.
I put a stop on that cheque to the store.
Stopcock.
Stopcock.
Stopgap.
Stopgap.
It's only a stopgap measure, not a long-term solution.
Stop-go.
Stop-go.
Stoplight.
Stoplight.
Stop-loss order.
Stop-loss order.
Stopover.
Stopover.
A 2-day stopover in Hong Kong.
Stoppage.
Stoppage.
Time lost in disputes and stoppages. A work stoppage by government employees.
We had 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. An intestinal stoppage.
Stopper.
Stopper.
A small stopper jar.
Stopping distance.
Stopping distance.
Stopping train.
Stopping train.
Stop press.
Stop press.
Stopwatch.
Stopwatch.
Storage.
Storage.
The storage of radioactive material. They moved to a house with lots of storage space.
I put some of my things in storage. Storage costs.
Data storage.
Storage heater.
Storage heater.
Store.
Store.
At Christmas, the stores stay open late.
She worked in a grocery store before going to college.
I need to go to the store for some milk.
A store of wood. Fat stores in the body.
A grain store. There's a real treat in store for you this Christmas.
As we left, I wondered what the future held in store.
Medical stores.
Patrick has never set much store by material things. Squirrels are storing up nuts for the winter.
Store the beans in an airtight jar.
Standard letters can be stored on floppy disks.
Smokers may be storing up disease for their unborn children. Smokers may be storing up disease for their unborn children.
Store brand.
Store brand.
Store brands are cheaper than name brands.
Store card.
Store card.
Store detective.
Store detective.
Storefront.
Storefront.
Storehouse.
Storehouse.
The local archive service offers a storehouse of material.
Storekeeper.
Storekeeper.
Storeroom.
Storeroom.
Story.
Story.
A staircase leads to the upper story.
Storied.
Storied.
Sun Tzu, the storied Chinese leader and philosopher.
Stalk.
Stork.
Storm.
Storm.
The weather forecast is for severe storms tonight. 20 people were killed when the storm struck the Midwest.
The governor found himself at the center of a political storm.
Government plans for hospital closures provoked a storm of protest.
The new show took London by storm.
I'll stay and weather the storm.
They were dancing up a storm.
Storm cellar.
Storm cellar.
Storm cloud.
Storm cloud.
Storm clouds are gathering over the trade negotiations.
Storm door.
Storm door.
Storm drain.
Storm drain.
Storm lantern.
Storm lantern.
Storm trooper.
Storm trooper.
Storm window.
Storm window.
Stormy.
Stormy.
The sky was starting to look stormy.
A dark and stormy night.
A stormy affair. Hostile stormy seas.
Story.
Story.
A story about a princess.
A detective story. Mommy, will you read me a story? A book of short stories. We cuddled together over a bedtime story.
The film was based on a true story. A front page story.
The Observer ran a story about the scandal.
The full story of what happened has never been reported. Parents did not believe her story.
First he wanted to hear Matthew's side of the story. He was having an affair with Julie, or so the story goes. Where were you? And don't give me some story about working late.
Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
The Charlie Parker story.
He wanted to have his life story told on film.
A 50-story building.
The story is similar in all her books.
Unemployment is falling in the US, and it's the same story in Europe.
It's the same old story. Too much work and not enough time.
As far as I'm concerned, Terry is still a friend. End of story.
It looks like a big house, but inside it's a different story.
You shouldn't tell stories.
Story.
Storyboard.
Storyboard. I can't do any storyboarding until I get the script.
Storybook.
Storybook.
Colourful storybooks.
It would have been storybook stuff if he had won the competition.
Storyline.
Storyline.
The play had a strong storyline.
Storyteller.
Storyteller.
Stoop.
Stoop.
Stout.
Stout.
A short, stout man.
A stout pair of shoes.
He put up a stout defence in court.
She stoutly denied the rumours.
Stout-hearted.
Stout-hearted.
Stove.
Stove.
A pot of soup, simmering on the stove.
A wood-burning stove.
Stow.
Stow.
I stowed my bag under the seat.
Equipment stowed away in a closet.
A boy was caught trying to stow away on a plane.
Stowage.
Stowage.
Stowaway.
Stowaway.
Straddle.
Straddle.
The photo shows him dressed in leather, straddling a motorbike. Mount Elgin straddles the border between Kenya and Uganda.
Her research straddles mathematics and social sciences. Immigrants straddling two cultures.
Strafe.
Strafe.
Straggle.
Straggle.
The children were beginning to straggle in from the playground.
Ali straggled behind, carrying the shopping.
Thin, black, straggling hair. Unpainted wooden buildings straggle along the main road out of town.
Straggler.
Straggler.
Wait for the stragglers to catch up.
Straggly.
Straggly.
Straggly hair.
Straight.
Straight.
The book is on the table straight in front of you.
She was looking straight at me.
Terry was so tired he couldn't walk straight.
He was sitting with his legs stretched straight out in front of him.
Sit up straight. Don't slouch.
I went straight up to bed.
Go straight home and tell your mother.
I've got a meeting straight after lunch. I think I should get straight to the point.
He's been without sleep now for 3 days straight.
I just told him straight that I wouldn't do it.
She came straight out with it and said she was leaving. I hope for your sake you're playing it straight.
I told him straight to his face what I thought of him.
Turn the radio down. I can't think straight.
I phoned my mum straight away.
Tony's been trying to go straight for about 6 months.
Straight up? Did you really pay that much for it?
No, straight up, I've never seen him before.
A long, straight road.
Try to keep your legs straight.
Always lift with a straight back.
Her long, straight, black hair.
They sat down in a straight line.
The road was dead straight. Is my tie straight? Straight white teeth.
I'd like a straight answer, please.
Just give me a straight yes or no.
I think it's time for some straight talk now.
I wish you'd just be straight with me.
The team now has an amazing record of 43 straight wins. It took me 2 hours to get the house straight. I wanted to get the facts straight.
Let me get this straight. Tom sold the car and gave you the money?
Tell him to ask Ruth. She'll put him straight.
I found it very difficult to keep a straight face.
A straight whiskey.
If you give me £10, then we're straight.
It was a straight choice between my career or my family.
We did a straight swap. One of my cards for one of his.
The election is now a straight fight between Labour and the Conservatives.
It's not a straight historical novel.
Straight arrow.
Straight arrow.
Straight away.
Straight away.
We need to start work straight away.
Straighten.
Straighten.
Can you straighten your leg?
Mum told me to straighten my room.
There are several financial problems that need to be straightened out quickly.
The path soon bends to the right, then straightens out.
She straightened out her legs.
He straightened out when he joined the army.
Her parents changed her school, hoping it would straighten her out.
He remained bent over for several seconds before slowly straightening up.
You'd better straighten up, young lady.
Straight-faced.
Straight-faced.
No, I really do love you, said Kim, straight-faced.
Straightforward.
Straightforward.
Installing the program is relatively straightforward.
This area of law is far from straightforward.
For someone who can't read, shopping is by no means a straightforward matter.
Jack is tough, but always straightforward and fair.
Straightjacket.
Straightjacket.
Straight man.
Straight man.
Straight shooter.
Straight shooter.
Straight ticket.
Straight ticket.
Straight to video.
Straight to video.
Straightway.
Straightway.
Strain.
Strain.
I couldn't look after him anymore. The strain was too much for me.
Did you find the job a strain?
The stresses and strains of police life.
The trial has been a terrible strain for both of us.
It's quite a strain on me when he's drinking heavily. The long working hours put a severe strain on employees.
I know you've been under a lot of strain lately.
I could see that she was beginning to crack under the strain.
The dry summer has further increased the strain on water resources.
The flu epidemic has put a huge strain on the health service.
The attack has led to strains in the relationship between the two countries.
His marriage was under strain.
The party split under the strain.
The strain on the cable supporting the bridge is enormous.
Some of these exercises put too much strain on the back muscles.
These 4 posts take the strain of the whole structure.
The rope snapped under the strain.
Long hours working at a computer can cause eye strain.
The goalkeeper is still out of action with a knee strain. Different strains of wheat.
A new strain of the flu virus.
There's a strain of madness in his family.
A strain of bitterness in Young's later work.
We sipped wine to the strains of Beethoven.
I've strained a muscle in my leg.
You'll strain your eyes trying to read in this light.
She was straining to keep her head above the water.
Bill choked and gasped, straining for air.
I strained my ears, listening for any sound in the silence of the cave.
She strained the pasta.
The increased costs will certainly strain our finances.
The incident has strained relations between the two countries.
I felt that my patience was being strained to the limit. Buddy's huge gut strained against the buttons on his shirt.
A dog straining at its lead.
He was straining every nerve to impress the judges.
There are 30,000 troops in the area, all straining at the leash.
Don't strain yourself.
Strained.
Strained.
I couldn't stand the strained atmosphere at dinner anymore.
The increasingly strained relations between the French and German governments.
Nina's voice sounded strained.
Alex's pale, strained face.
Strainer.
Strainer.
A tea strainer.
Straight.
Straight.
The Bering Strait.
After the war, the country's economy was in dire straits.
The firm is now in dire financial straits.
Straitjacket.
Straightened.
Straightened.
The straitened circumstances of post-war Japan.
Straitjacket.
Straitjacket.
The straitjacket of censorship.
Straight-laced.
Straight-laced.
Straight-laced Victorian society.
Strand. Strand.
He reached out and brushed a strand of hair away from her face.
Plato draws all the strands of the argument together.
Stranded.
Stranded.
Air travellers were left stranded because of icy conditions.
There I was, stranded in Rome with no money.
Strange.
Strange.
Strange noises.
Does Jeff's behaviour seem strange to you?
She felt there was something strange about Dexter's voice. Isn't it strange how animals seem to sense danger?
It's strange that we've never met before. For some strange reason, I slept like a baby despite the noise. Strange as it may seem, I actually prefer cold weather. That's strange. I was sure Jude was right here a second ago. The strange thing is, all 4 victims had red hair.
Strange to say, I was just thinking that myself.
As a child, she'd been taught never to speak to strange men. As a child, she'd been taught never to speak to strange men.
I was just 20, a young girl in a strange city.
It was all strange to him, but he'd soon learn his way around.
Can you get me a glass of water? I feel a bit strange.
It felt strange to be back in Dublin.
The cat's been acting really strange. I wonder if it's sick.